Here is the teacher code compiler. Over on the left side of your screen is the grading panel. The first thing you're going to want to do as a teacher is select a course. So you'll do that from this drop down here. For this example teacher account, we only have this one course, but you would see every course that you are a teacher for right here. So we would click on that. That enables the assignment drop down. So from there, you can choose from any of the assignments for that course that you chose. We are going to go down to this one here. And then once you click on the assignment, the submissions, every student submission for that assignment will load in. So you can see here for this example, we just have these two here, one called calculator.java and one called calculator2.java. From there, if the teacher wants to grade a single submission, they could click on one of them. Let's say we want to grade the calculator.java. That loads the code that the student wrote into the code editor. To actually start grading it, we first have to go up to the top right hand corner here and click on test files. And then we're going to put in an input file and an output file. The input file is what will go into the student's code, and the output file is what will be compared to what is outputted from the student's code based on the input that it's given. So let's go ahead and put in an input file. And then let's put in our expected output file that we will compare with the student's output. Okay. And then from there, we can either hit grade submission just for this one, or we can do grade all to grade all of the submissions. Let's say we just want to grade just this one that we selected, so we'll click grade submission, and then it goes ahead and runs the code. And then from there we can see this screen here that will show us all the grades. We just did that one, so obviously we'll just have the one there. And it passed with 100% because the output from it matched the expected output that we gave the code compiler. So it compared the two outputs and they were the same, and it gave it 100% score. But if the teacher wanted to change that, they could edit this to whatever they wanted. From there, they could download a CSV if they want filed directly onto their computer, or they could upload it to Google Classroom or Moodle, depending on whichever platform they're signed into. So that successfully uploads it to Google Classroom in this case, because that's what we're signed into. Over here on the right hand side, we can see the results. Here is the expected output. So this is the file we gave it, and this is the output from the student's file based on the input that we gave it. They both ended up with a result of 23, so they matched 100%. This example here, calculator2.java, is slightly different than calculator.java because in their addition case we have this +1 here, so whenever we give it the input, it's going to be off by 1. So just to demonstrate that it actually does grade it and compare the output and give different grades if it does not match, we can go ahead and grade this one now. And we can see that it was off by 1, so it didn't exactly get 100, but it was pretty close to what we were expecting, so it got a 98. But that is the teacher code compiler. This is the student code compiler. This is what it'll look like when you first load it up. Over here are the different languages that it currently supports, so Java, JavaScript, Python, and C++. You can switch between them with this drop-down menu here. Each language, whenever you open it up, it has like this example hello world code, And then when you run it, basically it's sending this to a Lambda function that we set up to compile it, and then it sends it back to the application. So you can see here it successfully did that. It printed out hello world just like the code's supposed to. If you happen to leave out a semicolon here so the code's not correct, it'll check that for you and let you know that the error occurred on that line, that it was missing that. So if we fix that and run it again, we can see that it works. You can also open up a file, so if the student already had a file ready, let me see, do this one here. This is a simple even odd checker program that I wrote. So it's basically just checking if the numbers are even or odd. So if you run that, we can see that it successfully works for a program that you open up. You can also start a new file if you want to do that. You can change the name here to whatever you want. You can also save it, so if you're working on something and you want to save it for later, you can go ahead and save it to your local computer. If you want to switch, we have this little checker in here, so if you were to switch languages and you didn't realize you were going to lose your programs you were working on, this will warn you before you switch languages, so you could cancel out and save them or whatever you want to do with it. So you can switch to another language here, and it has an example one there as well. But yeah, that's basically the student code compiler.
This will be a quick demo on the essay grader for the teacher. So on the teacher homepage, you could just click on the essay grader, and then for that teacher, it'll pull the course, the assignments in that course, and then the submissions for that assignment. So the submission will show up in this middle panel. This is just a sample essay that I submitted. And then on the right panel, you can view the rubric. This is just a sample rubric that I submitted for testing. So when the teacher chooses their course, their assignment, and then the submission that they want to grade, they can just hit grade here, and then the DeepSeek LLM, it'll grade the essay against the rubric that was provided for this assignment, and then spit out a grade here. Just because these are just sample essays and rubric, it didn't spit out too good of a grade. But the teacher is able to change that grade, and then it'll also spit out comments, and then the teacher can edit those comments as well. And then just so that we can see, it is test class 2 with the test assignment. This is the same rubric that we pulled in the app, and then when we review work, this is also the sample essay that I had in there. So when the teacher hits submit, it'll post the grade up to Google Classroom.
So here, when you get to the analytics page, you must select which course you wish to view analytics for. And currently, the analytics page only displays quiz grades. So we'll begin with SWEN 670 Capstone. And as it loads, it fetches the grades from the back end, from the actual Google Classroom API. And on the chart here, it displays the average grades for each quiz that came through. So test quiz 1 was 87.5, 82.5, and so on. And then down here below, it shows all the individual grades. So a feature to be implemented later would be switching from the student ID to the student name, so it's easier, it's more user friendly. However, right now, these are all the student grades that were imported. And if you so wish, if you so choose, you could export this to a Excel sheet, and then it pulls up here just like this, with all quizzes, all student IDs, and grades. And if we were to switch courses to, let's say, class 2, it has the same results. can see the average grades up top here on the chart from each quiz, and then you can see quiz 4, student ID, and the individual grades. We can export this one as well. New chart. Yep. So all the grades here. Additionally, to further confirm, we could compare this to the actual grades of SWEN 670 Class 2. Grades. So the averages for quiz 4, 73, 73. This data is being pulled directly from the Google Classroom API to be called into our application.